Would I be the a-hole for denying my deceased father's girlfriend the only two things she wanted from his estate to remember him by? My father passed away completely unexpectedly 2 months ago. He was twice divorced and had 3 children. 1 from his first marriage and 2 from the second. I'm from the second marriage. 3 years ago, he found a new girlfriend. She's a very kind woman, and he quickly proposed to her. She accepted, but on the condition that he moved out of his old apartment. The apartment has 9 rooms, all filled with documents, memorabilia, broken or very used designer furniture, and personal items. He never moved out. He simply couldn't muster the energy to clean it all up, and so they were never married. His girlfriend isn't mentioned in any will, probably because he expected to be married to her soon enough for it not to matter. Legally, she inherits nothing. She's now asked us to give her 2 things to remember him by: a wristwatch and a silver bowl. It just so happens that these are the 2 most valuable items in the entire apartment, probably around $10,000 each. We don't know if he promised them to her or if she's just scoped them out when visiting him. We do know that he's already given her gifts worth around $100,000 and that she's well off financially. We could all really use some extra money at the moment. Some of us have small children, and one is saving up for a wedding. Would I be the a-hole for telling her that we're keeping the items, probably with the intention of selling them? Now for the top comments. I felt like there is far too much left out here. I'm ignoring the will part because it seems pretty clear-cut on who those items belong to legally. I'm more curious in what the situation was while they were together and how much his kids were a part of his life. It's so sad to see family crawl out of the woodwork when someone dies because they stand to inherit. A family friend had to deal with her next-door neighbor's kids showing up and contesting the revised will of the neighbor because it changed it from the kids getting everything to the friend being the sole heir. He was of sound mind when the will was changed and everything had been filed correctly, so fortunately all it did was waste everyone's time. Friend had no idea about the change until the attorney contacted her. His reasoning was that his kids almost never contacted him while the friend brought him into her family and took care of him after his wife passed. Did all of the yard work, cleaned his house, drove him anywhere he needed to go, invited him for dinner every night, etc. I would say that while you have no obligation, take a long, hard look at your father's time with his girlfriend as well as yours when deciding what to do. Get the 2 items appraised. Offer to sell them to her at an amount that you adjusted down according to your evaluation of her relationship with your father and yours. All of us siblings are close. 2 of us were very close with our father, and 1 fell out with him years ago but had just started reconciling with him. He was close with his girlfriend, but in a bachelor kind of way. They went on dates. He bought her lavish gifts, but they didn't stay over much at each other's places. After his death, his 2 ex-wives have helped out more with the planning and organizing than she has. In fact, she hasn't helped at all. Not the a-hole. Perhaps consider talking with the executors of the will to give her the first option to purchase the items from the estate. If it hasn't been done, the executors should secure the home and consider changing the locks. Things go missing at this point all too often. I am sorry for your loss. Wills are difficult, especially since you should be allowed a time to grieve. I hope your family are all approaching this together and are supportive of one another. Thank you. That's a good idea. We are working together sorting through the items, but frankly, it's years worth of collecting. My 2 siblings also have quite strong opinions, so agreeing on a matter like this is close to impossible. Furthermore, to complicate the matter, my own mother, his former wife, would like to buy the silver bowl from us. We're fairly sure she should have it, as she has previously owned it with him and misses it. Not the a-hole. It just so happens that these are the 2 most valuable items in the entire apartment. What a wild coincidence. Tell her no, and remove the items from the apartment before she uses her spare key or gets the superintendent to let her in to take them. I know, right? We have removed them long ago and are debating where to store them. I'm sure the house itself is 100 times more valuable than those 2 items though. It's a rented apartment. If he owned it, it would be worth millions as it's located in a popular area. It's drafty as balls though, and hallways are topsy-turvy from the building settling over time. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to get rid of my office so my boyfriend's kid can have his own room? I, female 33, met my boyfriend Ash, male 39, 7 months ago. 4 months ago, he lost his job and couldn't afford his rent. We were only seeing each other for 3 months, so we've never discussed moving in together, so I was surprised when he asked me to move in. He promised it'll only be for a month, 2 at the most, and then he'll find someplace else. It's been okay living with him, and he still stayed until now as he's still looking for a job. I inherited a house from my grandparents, which I own on my own. It's got a ground floor with sitting room, kitchen, bathroom, drawing room. It's not an actual room. It's more like patio with windows around it. Upstairs, there's a master bedroom and a bathroom. It used to have 2 other bedrooms, but I run a small business for a living. Think Etsy and stuff, and I have been very successful for the past 5 years. So I remodeled those 2 bedrooms into a huge office which I need for work. I wasn't made aware of this before he moved in, but he has a 12-year-old son that he sees once a month. I haven't met him yet, but Ash wants it to happen soon. Ash started hinting that we should do some changes and paint and change the office into 2 bedrooms like it used to be as he saw photos, so I can use one as an office and one for his son. My first reaction was absolutely not. I explained that I need my office the way it is and can't downsize it, especially now during Christmas rush. He pushed, and I clarified that I am not going to make a bedroom for a child I haven't even met yet, that he only sees once a month. He started crying and called me a selfish witch. He started saying that I didn't care if he has a bond with his son, and he couldn't believe that I didn't want to meet him. To make matters worse, he keeps pushing me to do it, sending me photos of boys' rooms, making a wish list for Amazon, and every time we meet Myra's friends, he tells everyone that I don't want this child to have his own bedroom, that I may turn into an evil stepmother. I keep having to do damage control, but some people believe him and think I'm a witch. And my head is a mess. I'm starting to think I may be selfish here, considering the boy lives with his mother and siblings and he shares his room with 4 other kids. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to convert my office into my boyfriend's son's bedroom? He lost his job and couldn't afford his rent. We were only seeing each other for 3 months, so we've never discussed moving in together. I was surprised when he asked me to move in. I wasn't made aware of this before he moved in, but he has a 12-year-old son that he sees once a month. I haven't met him yet, but Ash wants it to happen soon. Ash started hinting that we should do some changes and paint and change the office into 2 bedrooms like it used to be. He started crying and called me a selfish witch. He tells everyone that I don't want this child to have his own bedroom and I may turn into an evil stepmother. Why are you with this person? He is a jobless mooch who lies to you and tries to control your belongings and possessions while using up your kindness and generosity. Kick this idiot to the curb ASAP. Not stay home. Literally all of this. Get him out before he's there long enough to claim tenancy and you have to pay money to evict him. This is only going to get worse. If any partner got mad and called me a witch, selfish or otherwise, they'd be out on their butt before they knew what was happening. There is a good term for this. Hobosexual. Not stay home. Look, time to open your eyes here. You met this guy 7 months ago. 3 months after meeting, he moves in for a month or 2 tops. Now it's been 4 months and not only he is not leaving, he's not working and he wants you to change your house around to accommodate a kid who is there once a month, whom you've never met. If you can't see the laundry list of red flags here, I don't know what to tell you. Get an eviction notice in writing so you are legally covered and serve it to him. He's gotta go. It only gets worse from here. Not only has she never met the kid, but from the way she wrote it, it sounds like she didn't even know he had a kid in the first place. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not paying for my stepdaughter's tuition because she wants to be a doctor? My wife and I have been married for a decade. She's a stay-at-home wife and we have no children of our own, though she has a daughter from a previous relationship, Sarah, and we've gotten along for the most part. Sarah is a junior in college and pursuing a biology degree with additional courses required by medical schools. She's had a dream of being a doctor and helping people since her mom and I met. The problem is she's not a very good student. She's failed her biology 1 class and had to retake it to get a B. She really struggled at her next level biology class and finished with a C. She also got a C in her chemistry class. She got a B in calculus 1 and 2. She's making A's in her non-science and non-math classes, so they're padding her GPA, which is at 3.2. This semester, I just learned she will make B's and C's in her science and math classes. I'm not a doctor, and I don't know any doctors, but I did online research. I found out that medical schools require many things, but at the top of the list is a high GPA and top grades in science and math classes. With Sarah's grades, she's not getting into any medical school. I even looked into nursing school to see if I can talk her into going that route. And all the ones I looked at require higher grades than what she has. I talked with my wife about it, and she said medical schools look at other things besides grades, and that's where Sarah excels. She has a solid volunteer resume, and she cares about people. I argued none of that matters if her grades are not good enough. She argues that Sarah will do great in the interviews. Like I said, I have no experience with medical school, so I can't argue with her logic. Instead, I talked with Sarah when she came home for Thanksgiving and told her to look into another major, because she might not be cut out to be a doctor. She ran to her mom and we all got into a huge argument. I admit I lost my temper and yelled that I am not wasting any more money on something she'll fail at. I told them both I'm not paying for next semester's classes unless she changes her major to something more realistic. I feel bad. I really do. But I'm not rich, and I don't have money to waste if she doesn't have a chance to get into medical school. Am I the a-hole? Additional info. The reason why I want her to switch majors is that having a biology degree without any advanced degree is useless from my research. While I don't know any doctors, I have friends who have biology degrees without other advanced degrees and they couldn't do anything with it. One had to go back to school for another degree. One works as an assistant manager at Lowe's. Another has been a receptionist for 20 years. They all advised against getting just a biology degree. While these are all noble jobs, they didn't need to pay for a biology degree to get those jobs. I'm still willing to pay for her degree if she switches to something that will allow her to get a good job. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The YTAs are ridiculous. Medical schools are very competitive, and every one of them have a minimum GPA requirement. If her GPA is below that, they'll automatically reject her without a chance of an interview. While she can make a decent living with a biology degree, she has to be good in science and math to excel in those fields. If she's making B's and C's, they're not even going to interview her. I understand the people saying you should give her a semester to improve, but they don't understand how science and math work. The more advanced science and math classes are built upon what should have been learned in the lower level classes. If she's making B's and C's in the lower level classes, she's going to really struggle in upper level classes. If she got a C in basic chemistry, she's not going to get an A in organic chem. This is accurate. OP is not the a-hole for being realistic. Mom is being 100% supportive no matter what parent, but that is not always the most helpful in the long run. Someone needs to be objective, since the family is not wealthy enough to fund multiple college degrees for Sarah. Not the a-hole. If she can't pass Bio 1 and Chem 1 with high A's, she will not pass the MCAT. Basically, given all this information, there is not a med school that will take her. She needs to find an alternate path in life. I had a 3.3 science GPA, but scored 521 MCAT, which was 98th percentile the year I took it. Got multiple MD acceptances. GPA is so subjective based on school. There's a reason schools weight MCAT just as, if not more, heavily. It's the great equalizer. Maybe she should do a mock MCAT exam to show how she might score, which could help validate OP's concerns. Or speak to someone at the school who can allay OP's fears, or prove him right with someone connected to the school. Not the a-hole, but a frank family discussion is in order to discuss what type of aid will be available after college. Info. Has she taken organic chemistry yet? I remember knowing a bunch of people on a pre-med track back in college, and that class more than any other seemed to be a sorting hat for who continued on to med school. True, Chem is the washout class. It takes people like Sarah and gets them out of pre-med. Last story. Am I the a-hole for bailing on Thanksgiving because I'm sick of hearing what a failure I am? I, 28 male, come from a family where everyone joins the Marines. Most of the males in my family join straight out of high school and make it their career in their entire personalities. I joined straight out of high school, did my time but did not re-enlist. Instead, I went to school and got a good job in a hospital that supports my wife and I. I'm happy with my life, but whenever I see my family, they always like to talk about how I give up on the military for an easy life. How my cousins made it though and are still in. Since it's November, every Thanksgiving has to have a Marine birthday cake and leads to comments about me not acknowledging that's Marine's birthday on Facebook. Just dumb stuff that doesn't even matter. I have told them over and over that that is fine for my cousins, but they are also deployed a lot and never see their families. And I like coming home to my wife every day. One of my cousins is 21, married to the first girl who spoke to him and now has a 1-year-old. This is who they compare me to because I'm 28 with no kids. That's fine if that's what he wants, but not for me. I told my mom this year my wife and I are going to stay home and do our own Thanksgiving. She's upset and calling me immature, saying they're just kidding and I'm too sensitive. But I'm sick of getting put down every holiday and family get-together for choosing a different life path than them. Not the a-hole. If you do end up going, bring the Crayola tub of crayons and set it out with the desserts. LMAO. Not the a-hole. If you're the one who is supposedly too sensitive, why are they the ones all upset over you spending Thanksgiving with your immediate family instead of them? Listen, not the a-hole. Military life isn't for everyone. It's hard, and it's hard on families. Tell mom you aren't the immature one. The rest of them are for being such giant a-holes. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your lovely wife. My dad spent 27 years in the Navy. I still remember telling him as a kid I wanted to join the military. All he said was, "Don't. You never see your family." And just like that, I stopped wanting to be a soldier. Yep, that's how my dad is. He did multiple deployments for various branches. Grandpa was Army and all the siblings. Catholic family either joined or married someone in the service. All he ever said about it was, "Our family did enough." My grandpa served in World War II in Europe. He saw a lot. He did a lot. He absolutely never encouraged any of his kids or grandkids to enter the military. He told us about what he saw and did during the last few years of his life. He was an 18-year-old kid bombing Germany. He never wanted that for any of us. At 95, his voice was still haunted by the things he had to do when he was 18. Families that encourage their kids to join the military, knowing and hoping they'll get sent into war zones, are insane to me. I would never want my family to be forced between taking a life or dying should that come up. Opie did his time and wants nothing to do with it. Can't say I'd want to do anything to do with my family ever again if they mocked me for not wanting to be a part of that any longer.